One, two. What's going on, B.Woods Industry Stories Podcast, taking you to the world of the entertainment business and what it takes to maintain the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, what I was talking about last podcast was the importance of just persistency in this business, just because it's easy to give up. I think that's the biggest thing, man. This you get so many cliches in this entertainment game, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and you probably see a lot of like motivational videos on Instagram or YouTube, but a lot of people, they don't really tell like their true transparent story of what it takes to really make it. I mean, you hear a lot of those stories from people that actually, they're multimillionaires now, but you rarely hear people that are within the business and trying to get to certain levels of success, or just trying to get to any level of success. You rarely hear the true grind and what people are really doing out here to make it. And the struggle is real. You got to come out here. I know so many people that they come from other parts of the world, other parts of the US, and they come out here and they're just like, yo, I got this dream, and I'm gonna make this pop off. And they come out here, and LA right now, I would say, like, it's probably like the best time to come out here really trying to make it happen, because this is the trick. When you do the entertainment game, it's always just like, it's your focus is always going to be directed in 17 different spaces, right? So your biggest thing is going to be your cost of living, right? So that's going to take, and the cost of living is not just a problem, but it's more of, it takes time to generate money consistently in order for you to actually be able to have enough mental fortitude to do the entertainment shit. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So when you work, anytime you work like a 9 to 5, like, you have 8 hours of just like energy, and then once you get done, then you have to kind of figure out shit. But I say LA, like, right now is the best time, because now you can do so many different things like Uber or Postmates, and you can make a couple $100s a day if you have your driver's license. So that makes life a little more easier out here. Back in the day, it wasn't like, you had to really be out here filling out apps and hoping to get callbacks. Like, you can literally like make money in moments here. And there's places out here in LA where it's not, the cost of living is expensive, but the quality of life, if you're willing to drive, can be drastically different. Like a spot like in South Central, Compton, Watts, is the same rent that you would damn near pay in like North Hollywood, Van Nuys, or the Valley, right? So a lot of people just stay out there just because, like, if what would be considered the hood, based upon just knowingness and familiarity, as opposed to just saying like, yo, I'm about to spend like 1,300, 1,400, 12 on a spot in North Hollywood somewhere. So most of I would say, like, in LA is funny too, because when people come out here, you kind of know like the vicinity of like where the talent kind of breaks down. So like North Hollywood, you get like there's a lot of like aspiring actors and dancers, right? So you got people that like really want to get out here and just do like the dancing thing. Like, they got this spot called Millennium, and then you have a lot of just people that are on these little TV shows trying to get on. Like, that's like the North Hollywood area. The tech area would be like Culver City, Playa del Rey, people that want to do that. Burbank, Toluca Lake is like the radio area. That's where like iHeart is. Culver, like over here, Beats by Dre. So the music people are kind of like on the west side, and then like South Central, uh, I'll say Crenshaw, and Inglewood. That's where you're gonna find like your talent, your music talent is gonna be like that general area, and and so there's a lot of people that just kind of tend to like to float around, just float around. So, but right now is definitely a good time. Back when I was coming up in the game, you literally had to. You would go to school. Like if you had a spot to stay, a lot of folks stayed out there with their parents, and then you did an internship, and that was your foot in the door. And that was probably the best way to do it because you got an opportunity to actually get inside the building and kind of see, what was going on, and you had an opportunity to go to school. They pay for it, and you had a spot to kind of stay in, and then you kind of build relationships. Like I said in the building, like when I started off as an intern at the Beat, and I was doing like accounts payables, account receivables, but there was no job that was really like offered to me. Like everything was kind of based on like relationships. And from that one internship, that's how it turned into the next thing, which was working at another radio station. And I happened to like, I never got put on as a radio DJ. Like I auditioned. It all kind of happened by accident almost, just because when you're in the environment, things just tend to happen for you. It's almost like if you stay at a barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get a haircut just on the strength, just because you've been up there long enough. And that's the same thing. It's just like putting yourself in an environment, whether it be a production studio, whether it be just anywhere where people are doing what you want to do. Eventually you'll slap hands with somebody and they're going to put you on. The other thing is just that, that's the beauty of just Los Angeles, because you have the big corporate entities, which if you try hard enough, then you can kind of finagle your way in there, and it's a good way to just kind of learn and get your grind on. I think the biggest struggle for most people when they come out here, though, is just trying to make the paper to sustain themselves, and having to do jobs that they don't like, because it's just more of not so much that the opportunity, it's just like you don't have an opportunity to see the opportunity because you're blinded by just trying to make a living for yourself out here. And that's what most people get bogged down for. Even people in the business, right? People in the business that have thriving careers for years, and something happens, they get let go. A lot of them just stop fucking with it altogether, because they end up having families, they end up having situations, they lose their passion for it, and the biggest thing about the business is just like, once you're quote unquote out the game, or you're not working for a big corporate company anymore, like people just don't fuck with you like that. You have to kind of rebuild your brand, because everybody kind of associates you, well, that's so and so from the label, or that's so and so from the radio station, or oh, that's so and so that was on the TV show, that's so and so. So you kind of have that label. And once if it gets out that either you're not there anymore, or you can't help them, your phone stops ringing. So for a lot of people, they define who they are based upon the company that they work with, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, my name is Tom from Apple, or my name is, Bill from Warner Brothers. And once that Warner Brothers or that Apple title gets taken away, something happens, they make cuts, then people, a lot of times they just don't fuck with you no more. And so it's disheartening, because it's not just the title, it's like something that you internally define yourself as. And so the reality is that you feel a certain type of way. And for a lot of people in this business, it's your title is associated to who you are. And when you're talking about people in entertainment, a lot of them have egos, and a lot of their egos are fragile. So when you take something away from them that they define themselves with, then it's kind of hard to bounce back. So that's why it's dope right now that the game is more centered around, when I say the game, I mean like the entertainment business. The game is more centered around being independent and creating an independent brand for yourself, as opposed to be associated with a corporate brand. And so that's part of it. The only thing is just that when you do it independently, it's just slower to monetize what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like when I was coming up, like I was paying rent based upon and entertainment, like getting checks and making. And so that's rare for most people to do that for 15, 16 years, is to make a check and generate taxable income on and on and on based upon like entertainment, something that your talents kind of do. And so um it's, those are this kind of like, there's those are the pros and the cons too. So the biggest pro, I think, doing things independently, like if you were to come out here and do your thing, is just that if you do find something that hits, then you can monetize it pretty quickly, and you can utilize things like YouTube. And so it's just about, it's more so mental than anything, and not allowing the 9 to 5 hustle to fuck up your mentality toward getting in the game and sustaining within the game. And that's the biggest thing. And then it's just about associating with people that understand what it takes to make it. I think the biggest thing is just that when I look at actors out here in Los Angeles, they kind of like sheep, and they're all scared of the same thing. They're scared of not having managers. And they feed on each other's fears. And so everybody comes out here, when I talk to an actor, they're like, oh my God, I need an agent like tomorrow, and I need a manager, and I need this, and my world will crumble if I don't have it, and I need to take $10 million for headshots. And it's the same thing. And they talk to other actors that are hella dramatic, and they all play on each other's fears. And there's real practical ways to get those resources if you know what the fuck you're doing. And so it's just about the knowingness more so than the fear that should guide you, and not playing into other people's fears when it comes to, getting your situation happening in the entertainment industry. That was one of the biggest things for me, was just that, when you're young, you kind of go at it from a space of just, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. When I first started, I had no compass for what this was. I grew up, I was a kid from South Central. None of my family was in the entertainment business. So the skies was the limits. I didn't know what to expect. When I went to the radio station, I swang for the fences, But now that everybody has these gauges to what it is, so the expectation level is beyond belief, and everybody wants to make $1 billion just because what they see on Instagram. And they don't really want to go through the process, or want to go through what it takes to actually build something, or get the real information to make something sustained. So we're going to talk to some people that are going through that exact thing, what I'm talking about, here on the Industry Stories podcast. And it's going to be we're going to share some real stories so that it gives a better feel of what I'm talking about. B.Woods, holla back.